milling about with Reeve Carney. There he is with your great suspenders, which I love.
Thanks so much.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm just zooming from home.
That's great. You live in New York, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is so exciting for me. I usually don't gush about my guests, since anybody will tell you. I've interviewed a lot of famous people, but I've been so excited to meet because I've been a fan for a very
Th-
long time.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like you're like the Billy Joel of the Green Room 42.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I play there a lot, which is nice.
How did you start working with them? Like, how did that all come about?
um, my friend Keith Heard. I worked with a bunch of amazing people. One of the producers and marketing people on Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark is a guy named Keith Heard, who's still a friend of mine. And he introduced me to Daniel Dunlow, who I'm not exactly sure his exact involvement with the club at the moment, but in the early days he was booking the club, and so I ended up starting booking through them, and then they've had many great people come through since then, and so I've worked with a lot of people over there. But yeah, that's how it started. Maybe in 2018, I think.
How do you just like I saw your Beatles show, which was unbelievable, and that's really just like threw me for, even more of a fandom, if that's even possible. How do you decide what musicians you want to cover and do their music?
Um, you know what? That's the great thing about this. What I'm getting to do now, because I'm actually able to uh pick exactly what I want to do. So I'm pretty much just picking artists that I love, and people that I've always sort of wanted to, whose catalogs I've always wanted to explore. Because I mean, I don't think it's. I've been doing a lot of covers lately, which has been great because I never really have. I've only done a couple, maybe like one cover every night. Usually is what I would do, but yeah, now it's been nice to just learn the songs that I want to learn, because I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you don't always get that opportunity when you're learning new material. Sometimes you have to learn what you have to learn, and that's not the case for these shows. I get to pick, the artist and the set. I mean, and I play my own music a lot. At this point, I'm kind of just every 3 months I'll do a show of all of my own original music, and then I'll scatter in different artists that I like, that I really enjoy. So it keeps things fresh for me and for the audience, I hope. I think it does for them too. So that's nice.
Oh yeah, and I love your stories in between. Like, for instance, you tell a story about meeting Michael Jackson, and
Yeah,
that just, whoa. So tell us that story. Tell us what happened.
yeah, that was crazy. Well, I mean, I started off as a jingle singer. In well, my family. I come from a family of artists, and so I originally wanted to be like a graphic artist, like a painter drawer. That's what I was interested in as a little kid. But both my parents were musicians, and my mom's a jewelry designer, and so my dad, in the 80s and 90s, was a very successful jingle writer in New York City, and through that I was introduced to a lot of session singers in New York, and one of his session singers happened to run a group of session singers of various ages, and one of her groups was a children's group, and so she got I guess you call her a contractor. I'm trying to remember her name, but this person is so amazing. I think her name was Valerie. What the heck was her last name? I'll try to remember. But yeah, she ended up asking me to be a part of that Michael Jackson history album. We didn't know what it was called at that time, but um, that's how I got into this children's group of I think it was 8 kids, and got hired to go to what was, I think, Sony Music Studios on 54th Street, and
Oh
now
yeah.
it's an apartment building.
Yeah. How old were you at the time?
I was 10. We recorded it in '93, and it didn't come out till '95. I think it was the summer of '93 we recorded it, if I remember correctly.
Wow, wow, wow. Have you met any of the other artists that you love to cover?
Yeah, I've met Paul McCartney.
Oh yes, that's right.
Um, I love, man, I'm such a huge fan of his, obviously. I haven't met many of the others. Like, I've never met anyone from Led Zeppelin or from Queen, except Adam Lambert, but he's a friend through another route. So before he was a part of Queen, I knew him. But yeah, so that's. But I haven't met any of the original members of Queen. I'm trying to think. I haven't met Billy Joel, but he's a huge part of why I'm a musician, actually.
Oh, wow. What would you say to him if you met him?
I would tell him that he's the reason I became a musician because I remember hearing The Longest Time when I was
Great
8.
song.
Yeah, that's when I decided I wanted to be a musician. In my parents' car, I was like, "Oh man, this is something different." The vocal harmonies, what I think really pulled me in. I mean, obviously the composition, the melody, and all of that. But
Well, coming from a musical family, were you encouraged to pursue music? I mean, you went to like a very good school for music.
yeah, I mean, I definitely uh, I was already pursuing it on my own. Well, taking guitar lessons and piano lessons when I was a little kid. I really didn't. Guitar is my primary instrument. I mean, I do play piano. I compose on piano. And I play it in my shows, but I haven't spent the same amount of hours over the years on the piano as I have on the guitar. And I went to college for jazz guitar, so that yeah, I ultimately did make it a big part of my formal education. But yeah, initially I was just extremely interested in taking lessons once a week or so.
I love how your mom is like your biggest fan. I think she was in the audience when I was there for the Beatles show.
Yeah, she tries to come to all of my shows, which is so nice. I mean, she's in between New York and LA mainly, but she tries to be in New York when I have my concerts, which is
And
really
it's a
nice.
great thing you have Instagram. You could like show her jewelry on there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not wearing anything today yet. I didn't put anything on yet because I haven't actually left the house yet. But I wear her jewelry every day.
I know it's so cool. So when you're doing your live shows, you're very busy up there. You're stepping on pedals, you're recording little moments. Do you ever get flustered and do the wrong thing?
Yeah. I mean, there it's a certain level of like I guess to consider something when something is too perfect to me, it's actually somewhat boring. But you want to aim for the best you possibly can do. But in terms of that's part of what's fun about challenging yourself in those ways, because there will be things that happen that you didn't expect. You know, it allows for more. The more variables you have, the more chance there is for something to surprise you. So that's one of the reasons I love playing these shows, especially solo, because I have complete control over anything I want to do at any moment. And with the percussive elements, my hope, at least for me, it feels that obviously it doesn't feel like it's exactly a full band or anything like that, but it feels you have enough of the elements of rhythm, harmony, uh, that being able to control all of it at once is really fun for me because I can change it up every time, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the audience would be wiser if they saw a happy accident, but you would know.
Yeah, hopefully they wouldn't. Yeah, hopefully most of the time they wouldn't. Yeah, hopefully not. I remember one time in the Beatles show, I could not keep my guitar in tune for Blackbird, and it was driving me crazy because I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like it was just, I I don't know what was going on, but yeah, certain things like that occasionally happen, and it's just say it is what it is. Hopefully, it doesn't bother the audience as much as it bothered me.
Nope, didn't notice.
I
So
remember when I saw Who actually in 2004, I think, and I was like, "That is the best acoustic guitar tone I've ever heard in my life." On in a huge arena like this, and I went backstage because my friend was the keyboard player in the band,
wait,
and
what band is this? I lost that.
oh, the Who.
Oh, The Who, they're my all-time favorite
Oh
band.
wow, yeah, it was amazing, Pete Townsend's acoustic guitar tone was like so incredible. When I went back, I got to meet him, and I told him that. Actually, I told his guitar tech that, and he was like, "Oh, that's funny." He was yelling at me, or like, I shouldn't say yelling, but whatever he said, he was saying he was not satisfied. I don't know if he was actually yelling at him. He was not satisfied with the guitar tone that night. So I'm like, wow, I wonder what it normally sounds like. But yeah, sorry, you had another question. I figured that reminded me of some of my things because I'm thinking, oh well, I didn't notice that at all. In fact, I loved it. But for him, it was like his worst acoustic guitar tone he's ever had. Wow.
I have a little confession to make. When I first saw you as an actor, I thought you were English.
It's good. Yeah, Penny Dreadful. Yeah, that, I mean,
Penny
it was.
Dreadful.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. It was. That's good that I was fooling people. It's good.
Did you, of all the disciplines, what do you get from each one? Like, what do you get from acting? What do you get from musical theater? What do you get from live performance?
Uh, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely enjoy. I mean, I tend to really enjoy what I'm doing when I'm doing it. And so right now, because I'm getting to play so much music, it's like I'm just really grateful because I hadn't had time to do this for years. I mean, I love an 8 show a week schedule, for a lot of reasons, but it's very difficult. I mean, I still was playing, I guess. I guess I was playing sort of once a month, but yeah, but I'm not. I wasn't able to travel as much for gigs, which is I'm doing more of now. But yeah, I like it all. I mean, it's there's something nice about in terms of this. It's hard to find a situation in the acting world where you're in as when you have as much control, I'd say, as I have in these shows, and that's a nice thing in a lot of ways because whether it's people, whatever good or bad, like you're responsible for it, and I do kind of enjoy that sometimes. Um, uh, Whereas like there are times when you might appear to be responsible for something in the acting world, and it's like, well, I might not have been fully responsible for those things, and so I do enjoy. I really enjoy that about music world, and getting to play a lot more guitar is great. I mean, I have obviously in Hadestown I did play guitar, but it was very basic sort of stuff. So and the same thing every night, which is cool. But I didn't really feel like playing guitar in the show.
So after Penny Dreadful, did you want to continue acting, or did you want to go into something else? Because I get the feeling like you're a Renaissance man. You like to do a lot of different things.
Thanks. I do. Yeah, I do like to do a lot. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I like to do projects that I'm really interested in, and uh, as Andre de Shield says, like you go with you should go where people's eyes light up when you walk in the room. I think that it's very good advice, because I think that's another side of it. You definitely want to choose projects that you enjoy, but and most likely the projects that are going to want you, they're going to be people whose eyes light up when you walk in the room. So you got to find those people too. So it's not. Yeah, I guess you don't want to necessarily force yourself into a project that's kind of well. But then again, that's kind of fun too because proving yourself on something that people didn't expect you to be able to do is also one of the things I love. Like getting to be like, oh, I have never done this, and you might not be the first person they would have thought of for it, and then you go in and you challenge yourself. That's another thing. That's one thing I probably like about acting the most.
Hmm. Do you have plans to do another Broadway show anytime soon, or you just
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't have any. If something comes along that's like that, I really enjoy that is going to be. But yeah, I I'm not aware of anything at the moment that would be something that would. Yeah, but definitely it would be great. I would love for something really exciting to come along like that. That'd be cool.
what about do you ever feel like doing an album of tributes because you're doing it live? Would you ever want to get into a
Yeah,
studio and do that?
yeah. I have. I've been so busy learning all these other sets, which has been awesome. But um, people had told me that I should record this uh, Reeve Carney sings the Divas album, the Broadway songs, the female Broadway songs. I do. I would be interested in doing it. I've just been I've been spending a lot of time composing and recording some of my own music again, and so that's been taking up the other portion of my time, aside from learning all this new material for these shows. But I do want to do that. I think after I get this, particularly this one song that I'm trying to finish a recording on now, um, I once I'm finished with that, I think that will be another next step.
This might be a loaded question, but what inspires you when you write original music?
I would say generally not your typical like human romantic relationship song, though I'm not as interested in writing those songs, I guess generally. I I don't know why exactly, but I read a few of them, but I tend to be drawn towards maybe slightly bigger concept type song, the idea type songs. I don't know, the things that, yeah. I try. I really try not to limit myself at all. I just find that those are the things that probably excite me the most. As
Mm.
opposed to, I just think that the other type of song has been written so many times, so many ways, that I may not be as drawn to it, just because there's so many great versions of that are already in existence.
So,
But
so what sort of things move you? What's important to you in the world right now that might inspire you to write a song about it?
well, I have a new one that I played at my show a few months ago, um, called America. I'm that's one of the ones I'm working on the recording for, because I would like to actually officially release that song. I yeah, I'm more. I'm generally interested in kind of. Well, I'm interested in everything, but like it's more spiritual kind of things of a spiritual nature. I think I tend to be more drawn towards. And I guess as I'm drinking out of this, I just realized he was. Oh, I have on both sides. He was a bit like that too, but this is one of my. I'm actually thought it would
Yeah.
take me longer to do this, but I thought it'd be really fun to do a Hendrix show at one point. But that's going to be complicated because I really want to learn some of his solos note for note.
You would smoke that. You would smoke that.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, he's one of my biggest influences, but my God, I've never actually learned one of his solos. I've never transcribed a full solo of his. I should do that. That'd be fun. So maybe that'll be one of the ones I do.
Ah, I would be there. I think you love to wail. Like I feel like that's something that you can, you revel in that, wailing on the guitar.
Thanks. I definitely have. I've really enjoyed, because I went to college, University of Southern California, for jazz guitar. I I'm kind of like going. I only went for 1 year, and so I feel like I'm sort of continuing my education that I started there through doing these concerts, because of the amount of different styles that I'm learning on the guitar. So that's been really exciting, and it's been nice to be able to just to keep learning. That's really one of the best things in life, I think. So that's I've really been enjoying myself with these past like 8 or 9 months doing all this. It's been really, really a blast.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna miss Prince, but give us sort of like a preview of what you'll do.
Oh, I mean, it's so hard. I'm realizing it was harder to pick just like 10 Prince songs to do. Um, but yeah, because you got to keep it within 75 minutes, especially when there's somebody in the second set after. Um, so I'm doing that. But yeah, I'm just picking some of my favorites, and I'm also gonna be doing a couple surprises that have been covered by other people. Because Prince also wrote some songs that he actually never even performed, and so I'm doing, I think, one of those that some people will know, but they might not even know Prince wrote it, and that's kind of a cool little thing. But most of them are Prince classics that people know.
So are you like when you get into this headspace to work on these Prince songs, you have to sort of have complete quiet and be isolated. Tell me what your process is in learning these songs.
I guess like yeah. I mean, thankfully we generally have that ability to do that. I mean, I do have a lot of time when I can have a lot of quiet time, which is great. I guess anytime I'm learning music, it does have to basically any other like distracting melodic or harmonic sounds in the room would make it harder to learn. So I guess so, but thankfully, I guess my kind of world, I guess, is a bit set up for that, because that's the majority of the work that I'm doing these days, which is great. I mean, and our dog that is really sweet and doesn't really bark that much, so
I don't
that's not.
hear it.
Yeah, so that's not even a. That's not that would actually distract me from learning songs, but yeah, it's good. But that I mean, I'm really the Prince stuff in particular. I'm excited about because he's always been one of my. I mean, possibly it's hard to pick top. One of my top favorite guitar players, absolutely. I was gonna say top three, but I might have to say top 10 because there's just so many that I love. But particularly his rhythm guitar playing, it's really insane, and really impressive, and I think actually still underrated. I don't know if the average person knows what an amazing guitar player he actually was. And so
Oh,
that's exciting.
yeah, I totally agree. Uh,
Yeah.
so I want to go back to sort of your beginnings, your musical beginnings, and you started a band with your brother, of course, Carney.
Yeah.
Um, what was that like, jamming with your brother? Like, did you have like a garage band? Like, how did you start?
Yeah, we did actually have uh started. I mean, I think our first band actually was, we both started playing guitar in New York, but then we were bi-coastal for 4 years because my brother was on a TV show called Dave's World with Harry Anderson and Shadow Stevens and so Meshach Taylor, so many other amazing actors. And so we were on that show, or he was on that show. We were in LA, and we had a garage actually in Studio City, and we would just like practice with the garage door open actually. So it was literally a garage band. I think our first bands were like that all through middle school, and then then we in high school we started playing in jazz bands, and I started playing in blues clubs a lot. Zane did that too, but first I was doing that kind of like every week. And then so we then we played blues bands together and like jazz band in high school, all kinds of things. But it started with the garage band thing, and then just kind of evolved from there, I guess, and expanded.
So you grew up in California?
I grew up both. I mean, I lived in New York till I was 14, but
Okay.
then moved to California pretty permanently at the time when I was 14.
You seem much more like a New Yorker to me than a Californian.
I lived in New York more years. I think, yeah, I think like I've lived in New York more than half my life, I think. And that includes even living in Dublin because I lived there for a while too. And
Oh, wow.
but just doing Penny Dreadful. But yeah, I think the highest number of years is New York. So at this point,
What was that like living in Dublin?
it's great. I mean, I thankfully I actually finished my album Youth is Wasted over there. I finished mixing it there, which was pretty great. Or I didn't finish it actually. I did a bunch of recording and mixing there, and thankfully I had the equipment I needed to do that. So if I hadn't, that would have been a bit frustrating because I was in the process of making it. But I had a lot of downtime in Penny Dreadful. I would probably only work on that show maybe an average of 2 days a week. So there was a lot of time. I mean, a lot of it was learning the material. So that was I was still working at home, but I was only on set probably like 2 days a week on average, and so I had a lot of time to work on music.
I wonder if, being such a Beatles fan, you got a chance to go to Liverpool and go to Abbey
I,
Road and
I could have done. I've never been inside Abbey Road actually. I can't believe it. I've been to Abbey Road, but I've never been to Liverpool yet. So I would like to, but oddly enough, when I was living in Dublin, everyone was like, "Why? Wait, you never?" I literally never left Dublin. I didn't go to any other part of Ireland. Part of it's because I don't really traveling by myself. I'm like, eh, you know, I would say I can't wait to take Eva there. If she had been there then I would have definitely traveled a bit more. But I also found Dublin to be so exciting, so much to do. So I mean, it's a small city, and they say you can like do it in it. Some people say you can do it in a day. I don't really agree with that. It's a very exciting city, and I found myself to not get bored at all. Like I'd be there for 6 months a year for 3 years, and really enjoyed it.
well, you're so young. What are you like, 40 even yet?
41, 41.
41. So what are you going to do when you're 64?
Um,
If the Beatles fans don't get that, I'm sorry.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like it's I remember Paul McCartney getting interviewed when he was 30 by a guy saying like, or 31, I think, and they're like, "Oh, you're a bit old for rock and roll now, aren't you?" And I remember he said something like, "Oh yeah, well, you know what? Why you're coming to the show? Why don't you come see the show tonight? You tell me if I'm too old to or something." But I don't. I back when the Beatles were first starting out, I there were a lot of interviews about what they would be doing, and I think initially, at least Ringo was saying that he thought he'd be a barber in like 2 years. This was like in 1966. He thought he was going to be a barber, or maybe he was joking though. But I don't know if they expected. But then again, I'm not sure. I don't know if they expected to have the longevity they did. Certainly, at Ringo and Paul at this point still performing live. all year. But I think part of it maybe they did. I think if you love what you're doing, you might as well do it, as long as you possibly can. Then I like guys like Jack Nicholson too. I saw this interview uh, with Lou Adler, who I got to work with on the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is amazing. And I, uh, he's a friend of Jack Nicholson's because they're always together at the Lakers games in the front row.
Yeah.
And apparently Jack Nicholson isn't officially retired, I don't think, but he's just doing whatever he wants to do. And I'm like, that's awesome, man. Like, yeah, just do what you want. Like, if a great role comes along, I mean, I'm sure that's what he always did, but even better. Like, so that's great too. Just doing what you want to do, and I hope he's having a great time. But if you want to be performing on stage, that's that would be great too.
So you won't be retiring anytime soon, I have a feeling.
No, I mean, I just I love doing what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm grateful to be able to do, and really just being able to play in New York like once a month is really great. I would love to play even more, but I don't want to like oversaturate the situation where people are like, oh, this is too much. If it weren't too much, I would probably play once every 2 weeks here.
It's not too much, trust me.
Yeah.
They just adore you.
Oh, that's nice. I'm really grateful for everybody I really do feel like I've got the best audience. I mean, because it's like, the only thing that could possibly, because people will sometimes say to me, oh man, like, what I really appreciate, like, I can't believe, you're not playing in these bigger venues, whatever. Like, well, I would love that, but I wouldn't want to trade it for what I have here in terms of the quality of the people coming to the concerts. Like the fact that the people who are there are really there to listen to music, that is the best thing you could ask for as a musician. I mean, Madison Square Garden, that's a dream of mine. I would love to play Madison Square Garden, but I would also love it if they were listening. And that's a hard thing to do there. I mean, even when you go see some of your favorite artists, there's a lot of talking in the audience, and
or using your cell phones, or
yeah. And I don't mind as long as it's not the distracting part for me is the sound. Like I remember we've sold out the Bowery Ballroom a couple times, like years ago with our band Carney. It was amazing. I love the experience, but I will tell you, it would drive me crazy when we would be in a quiet moment in the set and you just hear like 30 people at the back of the bar just like talking. And every time I've gone to that venue, that's the way it is. And so many venues are like that. And it's not, I don't know if it's I'm not saying anything negative about venues. I'm just saying that I appreciate the engagement of the people that come to my concerts. It's really, really nice. And it makes it so enjoyable for me to be able to do what I want to do.
So what are you looking forward to most of all about playing the music of Prince?
Yeah, I guess the fact that I've never done it, that's exciting. He's one of the greatest singers in the world too. I mean, like his range is insane. Like there's some things I don't know. We'll see. I mean, like I don't know if I'll be doing a couple. He sings like a high B flat above a female high. Oh no, above a male high C in Purple Rain. I'm like, we'll see. That's a high one. I mean, his range
Well,
is
you
insane.
got up there in the Michael Jackson songs.
Yeah, no, I mean, I sing my register go, you know, I'm comfortable in the higher register, but this thing I'm talking about is kind of it's a whole other thing that I'm always kind of working towards. People like Bruce Dickinson, I think I'm getting his name right, from Iron Maiden.
Oh yeah.
That type of thing. It's something that I spend so much time doing other things that I'm not always constantly exploring this, but in the back of my mind, I am like to get like a rock and roll scream up to like a B natural above high C. That stuff is like it can sometimes happen when you're on the road night after night, and you're just doing it every night. And I'm not always accessing that muscle to go. That's like a whole other area above, like that whole whistle tone zone, I guess is what it is, and that's something I'm working to kind of try to implement more of because I love that sound. But so Prince does a bit of that. He's also got this low, like almost bass. I mean, it's definitely baritone stuff that he's doing. Really impressive. So I'm excited to just challenge myself with all of this too.
You never met Prince?
No, I wish. My friend Christina Milian, when I was doing Rocky Horror Picture Show, she invited us stupidly. I don't even remember why we didn't. She's friends with him, and she invited us to go to his concert in Toronto when we were filming that. I forget why we couldn't go, but I'm like, oh my gosh, because then he passed away like a month later. It's like,
Oh my.
I never got to see him live.
Oh my. Well, Reeve, this was so much fun. Such a pleasure speaking with you. I really
You too.
enjoyed it.
Thanks so much, Robin. I really appreciate it.
Always news. Always refreshing. Always candid. Always milling about. Robin Milling delivers what celebrities are saying to you.